apologize for not uploading yesterday. I was busy and had no time. So I'll record this from now until 4, and then at 4 I'll record again. Ow! Chicklet. Creepypasta, fantasy, genuine fiction, historical fiction, horror, humor, and I forgot what the T stands. Imagine. I forget what the T stands for, but it's lesbian, gay, bisexual, and I think it's transgender. I think. Mystery, new adult, non-fiction, paranormal, poetry, random romance, science fiction, short story, spiritual, teen fiction, thriller, urban, vampire, werewolf. I need to remember to breathe. God. I don't know what to read. I'm about to go out here and tell these people to pick a genre. That didn't happen. Ow! Guys, we're gonna go to these people. Oh, come on. Where does everyone go? Short one! Yes? I need you to do something for me. You don't gotta move. I need you to pick a category out of the following: action, adventure, anime, billionaire, chicklet, classics, creepypasta. What?
Billionaire. You didn't even need to finish.
What?
You said billionaire.
Yeah, I'm reading the story.
Oh, wait. You start again?
Oh! Action, adventure, anime, billionaire, chicklet, classics, creepypasta, fan fiction, fantasy. Wow. What did I say? What did I say? Fantasy, general fiction, historical fiction, horror, humor, imagines, LGBT, mystery, new adult, non-fiction, paranormal, poetry, random romance, science fiction, short story, spiritual, teen fiction, thriller, urban, vampire, werewolf. I forgot to breathe again. Ah!
There's more?
No.
And I have to pick one?
G. What? What are you? What?
I have to pick one, or can I go back?
Hello? What are you doing? What? Just pick one out of whatever you heard.
The billionaire!
How would... A story about a billionaire?
Oh, anime.
That sucks too. I just turned the music down.
Hi!
Ouchie! Turn your TV down, because it's not even that loud.
Hi, Morris. Hi, Lonnie Stream. How's everyone doing today?
That quiet enough for you? Because now I can't even hear it.
Hi, guys. How you guys
Go
doing?
away!
Hey, guys.
Get away from me!
Hey, guys. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Get away! Well, it's something wrong with yours, because now I can't even hear my own music. I'm not doing no anime. Anime sucks. Stop running for nothing, my friend. It's hot. I'm still wearing a jacket. There we go. Can you hear me now? I want to hear my own jazz. There we go. I need a story genre thingy. I can't get copyrighted for jazz. And if I did, I would really like to know why. Because no one can recreate or claim any type of jazz music. What is this? Hold on. I think that was part of the chair and I actually ruined it. Oh well. Depends on what kind of a story I decide to read. Because if I go with a romance one, then I'm going to change the music. But as of right now, I need something for the background. What are we reading, people? This time, you guys get to follow at home. This time, you can actually see it. I'm covered in glitter. Yo. That was funny. I don't want to pick random. I'm surprised sci-fi isn't on here. Oh, never mind. Pretend you didn't hear that. You didn't hear anything. Oh, I don't know what to read. I don't know if I want to do a creepypasta, adventure, horror, something. Ah! I forgot how to spell genre. Oh, okay. I bet you feel like I have. Oh, it's not a half hour. It's been 12 minutes and I have yet to start. Oops, I forgot to add to the description. Oh well. What happened? What kind of a fantasy? Maybe. Why do you? Magic, action, fiction, full fiction, mystery, misdirection. Okay. Ouch! Until he came along. I didn't know that was a thing. Or not even just a thing. Those darn. Nope. Painting the bad boy. Vampire pet. The bad boy was staring at me. Why all the bad people? Stop it. Sold to the gang leader. Anonymous. I said, ooh. Captain versus captain. You rejected your future queen. Guarding her. The boxer boys. Baby girl, no. Juke jam. No. Kill me. Gang leader. I'm gonna go with the Cinderella one. I like this one. And then we go. Can you? Thank you. Now we're gonna get some fantasy type of music. Again with the C. That's too short. That don't sound like fantasy music. Okay, that works. Okay, I do got it on. Touch the date. Okay. Ouch. Can you? There we go. Stop. Just the author's note. You want me to read the author's note part? Ouch! Oh, there's more than one. Oh, so this one is just a Cinderella. Oh! They're doing this with all the Disney princesses. Well, not even Disney. Okay. I'm gonna read it anyway. Hello friends, welcome to Anonymous, the first book in the Anonymous series. I'm happy you're here. What's this? What happened? Oh. I'm happy you're here. A few things before you get started. This is the first book in the Anonymous series. It is a retelling of Cinderella set in a medium-sized kingdom called Sirius. Though this is the first book, you don't necessarily have to read this one first. All of the Anonymous books can also be read standalone. However, I will still recommend you read this one first. And then it gets the order. Anonymous, Keeping Secrets, Cave Na Tower, the Initiative. If you find any mistakes, I would love you to point them out. I'm only human and cannot catch everything. If something doesn't make sense or seems bizarre, please bring it to my attention. I promise it won't hurt my feelings. Instead, you'll be helping me craft Anonymous into the best version it can be. I've included a map in this note for those who like the reference. It's obviously a little outdated in terms of building, but I couldn't find a modern fantasy map generator. Hope you like it. The amazing cover is done by that person. And enjoy reading. Stop. Okay, chapter 1. 78,000 listeners. A small smile flitted? I think that's supposed to say fitted. Fitted on Cole's face. 128. Out of all the acres in the kingdom, she currently ranked 128 in the popularity category. To be in the top 1,000 was a feat itself. And she was 128. A sense of accomplishment washed over her, and she bit her lip to stop the grin threatening to take over her face. A box popped up on her laptop screen. That word is requesting a video chat with Anonymous 4. Proceed. Cole moved the cursor over the thin yes box and clicked. Her best friend Josh took over the screen. Hey Josh. She released the grin, not caring if it were too wide, too cheery. What's shaking? He sat at the computer desk in his room. The blinds were closed tight and the lights dimmed, like always, after 10 p.m. Vaguely, he saw the outline of his bed. She saw the outline of his bed and the dark posters of his favorite Ace band, Mark My Lyrics, on his wall. My little Chi-Chi has made the top 200. Congrats. Who told you? I got a notification on my Muse Tunes page. I do follow you, you know. Cole released a breath. Don't scare me like that. Josh brushed his blonde hair out of his face and gave a crooked smile. Relax, your secret is still safe, Anonymous. She nervously glanced around her room and over her shoulder like someone could have popped up since the last minute she checked. Will you keep it down? She hissed. What if your mom heard? He rolled his eyes. Paranoia is not a cute quality on you, Chi-Chi. Shut up. Does Danica know? Cole scoffed. Danny and I aren't like that. And if she did, she would tell my dad and he would murder me in my sleep if he found out. Any sentence with Cole and public in it is taboo in his world. Josh furrowed his eyebrows. He seemed to be fine with Danica. I don't see why he shouldn't be proud of you. She picked at her chipping nails and glanced over at the window. It's complicated. Please just let it be. Besides, I never did this for fame. I'm not Danny. It's only ever been about the music, though she had to admit the fame would be interesting. Fine, he grunted, crossing his arms over the gray t-shirt he wore. Hey, Cole waited for him to look up to continue. Congratulations on 239. That's a great number. Josh broke out of his boyish grin. Thanks. Your mom must be ecstatic. She's beyond excited. Wants to throw a party and everything. I better be invited. Josh ran a hand over his face. His eyes dropped in the way they did when he was beyond exhausted. Your presence is mandatory. I can only handle my Aunt Nora for so long before I'm ready to jump into a pit of acid. She chuckled. Well then, I'll make sure to be there to stop you from doing anything reckless. Cool. Oh, that says Chloe. Why did no one tell me that said Chloe? Chloe, a voice yelled from downstairs. Chloe! Chloe swore under her breath. Sorry, gotta go. The evil stepsister is beckoning. Text me, okay? Yeah, whatever. Give her a nice kick in the butt for me, will you? Ha, sure thing. Bye, Chi-Chi. Josh signed off. Chloe! The voice yelled again. I'm coming. She closed her laptop carefully and headed downstairs. After a bit of wandering the rooms of their larger house, she found Danica in the den. Chloe's household wasn't the most normal. It was built a few years ago when her sister's career really started to boom. Her parents had it carefully and uniquely crafted to be as modern as possible. Millions of dollars put in along with a lot of sweat and hard work to make each room special in its own way. The den wasn't any different. Bookshelves collecting dust lined all the walls except for the far wall where the 62-inch flat screen rested on the wall. The floor was all wood and kept clean. The best part of the room, the part Chloe adored, was the way the floor hollowed out so that the extremely large square sofa bed could fit. Danica rested on the gray sofa bed, her arm raised only so she could scroll through options with the remote. Chloe's feet slapped against the cold floor. What? Her stepsister gave no notice she even heard her. It was until Danica spoke. Did you record something over my extra shows? She came all the way down here for this? No, you had to have. My recording isn't here. That sucks. Danica's long black hair stayed perfect even as she turned around to look at Chloe. How am I supposed to keep up with the latest news if you always record over it? I never record anything, Danny. Chloe curled her now freezing toes for warmth. It's not like you really need to know everything about everyone anyway. Those stupid gossip shows should be banned from TV. I need to know what's happening in the world. Then watch the news. It seemed obvious. I mean the important stuff. Chloe flicked her eyes upward. Why, God? Don't you have a tour to be on? Don't you have a social life? Oh, wait. Danny turned back to her TV. Chloe spun on her heel and rushed towards the kitchen. Leave my recordings alone, Danica called out as she was leaving the room. The kitchen was cold and empty. Chloe dragged her feet over to the fridge and opened the metal door. She wrinkled her nose at the contents. All natural coconut butter, gluten-free bread, oranges, rejuvenating water. Where was the Coke when you needed one? She shut the door and went over to the pantry. Still nothing good. She wanted real food. She wanted sugar. Of course, none of that could be in the house when precious Danica was home. If she found even the smallest bit of fatty food, she'd throw a fit. Chloe didn't see how that was fair. She's not the one who decided to go on tour and be constantly in the spotlight. Dejected, Chloe sat down at the table. The top of her ace mark showed under the long sleeve of her shirt. She pulled up her sleeve and looked down at it. An ace mark was pretty much as a glorified birthmark. It was a mark received at birth that showed what family you belonged to. When your mate was found, it supposedly glowed if they sang to it. Each family had relatively the same mark, like a family crest. The main part of the mark was always the same, but the surrounding design was special and different from each individual. Chloe's design began at the underside of her wrist and spun down 4 inches about mid-forearm. In the center was a green-tinted star, and in the top left corner and the bottom right corner, where the points intersected, slow curling lines flowed outward. They overlapped and crawled down her forearm and up toward her wrist like beautiful ivy. She really liked her ace mark. It was a nice, easy design, not too glamorous and all over the place. Not that it really mattered too much. Showing your ace mark before you found your mate was like bearing your soul. Unless you had the misfortune of having it on your face, no one but your mate or family usually saw it. And some families didn't even reveal theirs. Chloe's never seen Danica's or her dad's. She didn't remember much about her mom, not enough to remember seeing it. And her stepmom was never around anymore, so that ruled her out too. Chloe pulled her sleeve down and went back to her room to start her homework. Ethan's foot tapped on the steady beat pumping through his headphones. His voice sounded smooth and easy, perfectly in tune with the music. It was a nice song, snappy with pop undertones and a lot of bass. The only thing that could make it better would be to add another voice to the tune. Only one voice could make it perfect. His fingers drummed the table to the beat until they began to shake uncontrollably. He clasped his fingers tight in his lap to stop the tremors. The music continued to blast through the headphones, and then all at once, he couldn't take it. He slammed a few buttons on the recording studio's master control board and yanked the ear set off roughly. His foot bounced in agitation, and he raked a sweaty hand through his black hair. If she was here right now, if she was here, he'd be okay and not get these random out of control withdrawal attacks. What if he never saw her again? What if the door to the control room clicked open? A dark-skinned person walked in and stopped right in front of Ethan. But for the life of him, he couldn't get his gaze to focus. "Whoa, man, you okay?" A familiar voice questioned. Ethan muttered something incoherent. "Is one of those things again?" Unable to do anything else, Ethan nodded. The figure set something down on the table and grabbed at whatever was set down. Ethan flinched as freezing cold water splashed his face. The liquid seeped through his sweater and the tank top he had underneath. He clutched a fist of the material and pulled it away from his body. "What the heck?" His friend Jason grinned down at him. "Didn't think that would actually work." "Did you have to do that?" he asked angrily. "You yelled at me last time when I slapped you because it hurt." Jason rolled his eyes. "Next time, could you try a gentle shaking?" Jason scrunched his eyebrows and rubbed his chin in mock concentration. "Gentle? With what's that?" "You're such a butt." a pretty butt. No swearing. Whatever, Ethan grumbled. Got any napkins to go with that water? His friend shrugged. Forgot to ask. Sorry. He held up his pointer finger. Oh. But I do have a nice warm cup of black coffee with your name on it. Ethan stared at him flatly. Thanks. No, it seriously has your name on it. Jason went to the table and pulled a to-go cup out of the cupboard holder. He squinted at the side and cleared his throat. Prince Ethan Alexander, he said in a high, squeaky voice. Please call me at... Ethan jerked the cup out of his hand, spilling a bit of hot coffee onto his fingers. Ha! Ah! Why are you dressed? I was dressed for the longest time. Move!
I'm reading the story.
Move! Get out of my room! Anyways. Thanks, man. He said, you're the best. I have heard that many a time. Ethan turned the control board on again. Why am I yawning? Picked up the headphones and carefully placed them on his ears. The song played carefully through the speakers. Yes? Oh! I know I forgot something. Thank you.
It's hot as fuck in here.
Watch your language, Mommy. Kid friendly.
What?
Kid friendly. Please.
If you was dead, I'd have said something different to you.
Try being a good child next time. Okay. Apologies if you hear that, but I don't care. And carefully placed them on his ears. The song played carefully through the speakers, though he didn't hear any of the words. His mind was already conjuring a set of lyrics to the next song he'd write. The leather-covered notebook he always used sat on the edge of the table. He scrambled to find a pen and then sat down to write the words. His hand struggled to keep up with his brain as it spit out the words. Jason put on another set of earbuds and snapped his fingers to the beat. It's pretty good, Ethan stared hard at the words he'd written down on the paper. Slow, emotional lyrics. They'd never hit the airwaves because they weren't his style. Too much feeling put behind them. He turned off the music. It could be better. So could my relationship history. Jason still snapped his fingers, even though the song was long gone. It needs another tone of voice. I could try a couple bars if you want, he offered. Ethan chuckled down at his paper. I'd rather keep my listeners alive, thanks. Jason gasped. Gasped. That's what it's supposed to say. I'm all the way up to 5. He shrugged. That's by popularity, not talent. Just because you're number 1 here doesn't mean Ethan had way past stopped listening. What if she's still alive? He whispered at his written words. Oh, damn it! He looked up at his best friend hopefully. She has to be, right? The question sobered Jason. I don't know, he said. His fist clicked. Boy! Shut up! His His fist clenched around the pen he held in his left hand. Ooh, he's left-handed. She is. I know she is, Ethan said. You don't have a connection like that without feeling You don't have a connection like that without feeling if something happens. I can't read. Already? Stupid thing. Hold on. Freaking bracket Betamax. Give me a second. Better do something. And let's roll. Nothing. Stop! This way, please. What? Get out of my room. You're annoying. Leave me alone.
I'm not annoying.
Dude! For once, Jason stayed quiet. Maybe I'm not trying hard enough. Ethan stepped up and out of his chair, moving about the room. You already have the guard watching out for anything. Ethan rubbed his chin. But that's all Jack's contribution. He'd do that anyway, even if I didn't ask him. Because she's his family. Jason stated as if it was supposed to be obvious. Something itched at the back of his mind. His brain clicked ideas together. That's it! He stood in front of Jason and rested his hands on his shoulders. I've been trying so hard all this time to find her, looking at photos, staring at databases. But what if I've been going about it all wrong? What if I make her come to me? Jason said, slowly confused. Okay, how do we do that? And then little stuff. No, I guess my pictures. Excuse me. I would like to continue reading, you jerk. I can't even continue reading until I watch it. I hit continue. Ugh. Go away. No one wants you here. Great, and it paused my music. Stupid. No! Chapter 2. I don't care. I just wanted to. Rain Academy was nothing like all the rest. It was a prestigious school, one that made some families take on 3 jobs or sell organs to get into. And even then, it was hard to get in without connections. But if you did manage to get in, it was worth it. It was so worth it. Chloe carefully balanced her green tea on her books, and she stepped out of the passenger seat of Josh's car. She used her hip to knock the door shut and winced at the horrible creaking noise that it made as it closed. Josh stared through the fringe and all over the top of the car. Josh stared through the fringe and over the top of the car at her. Don't say it. he warned. She inhaled dramatically, opening her mouth to say the words. Don't. Josh pointed his finger at her in warning. Chi-Chi, you really need a new car, she said in a rush. Josh groaned. They walked together towards the main entrance. Even on a chilly fall morning, the school courtyard was full of activity. Tens clustered into groups and sat or stood in random places, talking or singing to each other. Ouch. The place was a flurry of action and movement, and would always be in the mornings until the dead of winter, when snow covered the ground. Then they would find their way to the auditorium or cafeteria before school started. Ouch! Chloe smoothed out her plaid uniform skirt with her hand and took a sip of her green tea. She made a face at her cup. Blah! Josh looked over. What? Nothing. Just cold tea. Josh held out his hand for the cup, which Chloe passed over. She watched and barely withheld excitement as Josh's hands began to glow slowly. They burned white in the middle of his hands, which smoothly transitioned to an orange on the outer edge. All too soon, he handed her the steaming cup. Chloe sipped at it carefully. Thanks, Josh. I owe you one. She sniffed. Now, back to the car situation. Leave it be, Chi-Chi. You know Sally's my baby. I could never give her up. Your parents are rich. They can buy you a new Sally. Josh held open the door for Chloe. It wouldn't be the same, and you know it. Fine. But I just want you to know that if I die in some tragic car explosion, I'm going to haunt you in your dreams until you die. Then I'll haunt your spirit too. Josh grinned. Someone's a bit dramatic today. Bite me. They wandered off towards their lockers, which resided in the history hallway. The usual chatter and conversations floated to Chloe's ears. She's 568 now. I'm still 603. Prince Ethan is supposed to be on the Darren show tomorrow. You hear? Danica's back in town again for the rest of the fall semester. I hope she's in one of my classes. I moved up to 1024. Isn't that great? Chloe stopped at her locker and spun the combination. It's a number, she muttered. That's all it is. Josh leaned his shoulder against the neighboring locker. You know it's more than that. She swung open the metal door. Can you hold my tea? She waited until he grabbed it and then placed her books in the locker. It shouldn't be about the stupid popularity. What's the point of it if you don't do it for the music? He shrugged. Beats me. All I know is that popularity doesn't last. It's the determined, fun-loving people like you and me that stay on. Or if your name is Danica. Right. His gaze went far for a moment before he came back. But I still prefer listening to the people who actually put emotion into it. Chloe slammed her locker and thanked Josh for carrying her tea. She took another sip, resisting the urge to moan in satisfaction. I think I'll keep you, Josh. The day pretty much flew by. None of Chloe's morning classes could focus long enough to do work because all the students heard Danica was home. All the teachers gave up and made classes a study hall. Only her last class did anything. It was her last, but also her favorite. Music Vocals 101, taught by Mrs. Medina. Mrs. Medina was her favorite teacher. She was passionate about the business and always tried to get her students to love what they were coming to Rain Academy for, performing. She also was the only teacher Chloe confided in about her situation. As soon as the bell rang, the door was shut. Mrs. Medina clapped her hands together. Okay, guys, break into your groups and bounce song ideas off each other. The students shuffled to follow orders. Chairs squeaked and desks scraped the floor as everyone got into their set groups of 3. Remember, guys, that you complete recording songs. Recorded songs. Remember, guys, that your complete recorded song is due by next Thursday. Miss Medina announced to the class. I don't accept late work. Chloe's group had just one other student in it at the present moment. Her name was Gina, a very enthusiastic junior. She was nice and Chloe enjoyed her company, but at the same time she could only take Gina in small doses. Gina and Chloe stared awkwardly at each other of their open notebooks for a moment. Chloe cleared her throat. So, have you started writing your song yet? Gina grinned, her teeth perfectly white and straight in the borderline fake loving way. Nah, it was too busy for cheerleading practice and watching music videos to do anything. Oh, anyone good on Muse tunes lately? Actually, the door to the classroom swung open, cutting Gina off. Her classmates looked up. Chloe's stepsister picked through her purse with her perfectly manicured nails as she entered. Sorry I'm late, she told Miss Medina. Danica pulled 2 small pieces of paper out of her purse and gave them to the teacher. These should cover any assignments I may have missed. The class chittered excitedly as Danica's presence spread through the room. Hushed whispers and giggles floated into the air. Chloe crossed her arms over her chest and sank further down into the seat. Miss Medina furrowed her eyebrows. Miss Layton, bribery will get you nowhere in this classroom. She extended the money back to Danica. I expect all the assignments you've missed on my desk by next Monday morning. Chloe smirked. Sweet justice. Danica paled considerably. But that's 2 months of missed work. I'm glad you can count, dear. Now please go take a seat with Chloe and Gina. They'll let you know of what you've missed. Gina quickly leaned forward, her eyes wide and bright. Oh my gosh. Dania's in our group. I think they're supposed to say Danica's. Danica's in our group. She almost squealed. Danica walked over to their table, chin high and shoulder back. She sat carefully in the chair to the left of Gina across from Chloe. Hey Danica, Gina spoke up. Nice to meet you. I'm Gina. Danica nodded in acknowledgement, but said nothing. She pulled out an emery board and began filing her nails. Her eyes hit Chloe unexpectedly, warning her to play along. Chloe. I'm Chloe. Chloe doodled tiny stars and swirls in the corner of her leather-bound song notebook as Gina explained the details of the project. Then next week, we all are recording the songs in the studio. It'd be so cool if you could show us how it's done, though. The rest of the class passed quickly and easily. Danica pretended Chloe didn't exist like usual. She didn't particularly have a problem with that, since it meant not having to deal with her. It still hurt, though. A loud, shrill ring signaled the end of the school day. The students rustled together all their supplies and rushed out the door. What happened? Stupid music. Time to pick a new one. That works. Oh, what? What? What do you want? What do you want? Why? Why? What? About the box. What box?
Still got the whisper child, dude.
The box. What do you want to tell me? What do you want to tell me?
Oh. Why did you slap me so hard?
Because you won't tell me what you need to tell me. Get out of my room.
No, it's about the...
It's not those. Butterflies?
What are they?
Butterflies.
No. What breed are they?
Insects. Leave me alone.
You don't get it yet. It's about the bugs. Idiot.
Okay, I don't care. Get out of my room.
Never. Don't touch me. I want that one kid. No.
Get out.
Oh.
Get out.
Your belly is so
Get out.
cold. Hold on.
Get out.
Hold on.
Get out.
I need to stop walking it.
Get out.
I need to stop walking.
Get out.
Okay.
Get out.
Okay.
Get out. Get out.
Okay.
Get out.
I am getting up. I am getting up. I get it.
That's not getting up fast enough. Anyways, before I was so rudely interrupted, and rushed out the door. Jenica, excited, exited the room without even a glance at Chloe. Bye, Chloe, Gina called out as she left. See ya. The room was dead quiet after everyone left. Are you all set, Chloe? Miss Medina asked her from the front of the room. Chloe did a mental once over of her notebook. I think so. Yeah, she definitely had the lyric in her notebook. Let me just text Josh and tell him to meet us in the studio. Of course. Thank you so much, Mrs. Medina. Chloe sent a grateful look her way. Mrs. Medina snatched a file from the top drawer of her desk and a pen. Anytime, Chloe. Chloe flipped open her dinky Motorola. What is that? I don't even want to know. And texted Josh. Meet at studio in 5. Ouch! The headphones fit snug against her ears. Chloe was just a foot away from a tall standing microphone, right behind the mic in the sound booth. Her leather notebook rested on a black music stand. The lyrics she'd scribbled down on a rainy Tuesday night waited for her. Ready, Chi-Chi? Josh asked from the control room. She gave him a thumbs up. A piano began playing in her ear, smoothly flowing through each key. The steady drums and guitar followed. Chloe took a deep breath and let her diaphragm begin its work. The intro went beautifully. The music picked up for the chorus. Notes echoed through her ears. Her voice transmitted easily from the high notes. The song continued. She put a bit of finesse on the longer notes and kept along with the music. The drums and bass faded out as she held onto the last note. Her voice cut off, but the piano kept playing until it slowly stopped as the song ended. Sounded great, Chi-Chi, Josh told her through the headset. I think we may have the I think we may have to redo the second verse and fix the third repeat of the refrain. Chloe nodded at him through the glass window. I'm okay with whatever, just no auto-tune. Josh smirked and flicked blonde fringe from his eyes. Wouldn't want you to sound fake. It's bad for your image. She rolled her eyes. Shut it. The music started up again in her ear. She sang with the tune, picking it up easier. The second run through ended up better than the first. I like it, Josh told her. Later when they were cutting and adjusting the sound in the control booth. Thanks. Mrs. Medina glanced up from the corner chair. I hate to say it, but we have to wrap this up, guys. I told my husband I'd be home for dinner, and it's 7 already. That's fine, Chloe said. We just have to upload it to my flash drive. Miss Medina picked all her stuff up as Josh downloaded the track to her flash drive. He then went through and deleted any file history from the main computer. Thanks again, Mrs. Medina. Mrs. Medina locked the... Excuse you! Mrs. Medina locked up the door behind them. Having superstars in your family does sometimes hinder people. I understand. Chloe posted the new song to her Muse Tunes page at midnight that night. 1 hour left. Oh, you ugly. Oh my God, you're ugly. Wow. Hold on. I need a crackers break. I got me my animal crackers. So how's it going? That's why it tastes weird. I don't have any milk. Duh. Or my hair. Oh. It's cold. Nom, 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 nom. Oh my God, I love you. Freaking delicious. I apologize if someone was hungry and I'm sitting here eating animal crackers, but I'm hungry too, so. Stop falling, you stupid bag. Right. Okay, over there. Beverage. Hey, okay. Actually, give me a minute. I shall return. I forgot. I'm back. Hey! Go away. What's the news on midnight? Ah! Please stop! Oh yeah, cause I think he was ugly. He just moved his finger over the silver necklace. The metal was cold and soft on his skin. The chain, delicate but strong. Hi! Delicate but soft on his skin. The certain delicate but the chain, delicate but soft. Just like she had been. He fought back a smile, remembering the way they had been so long. Today, no. That's Tuesdays. This was supposed to be recorded yesterday, but I ran out of time yesterday to do stuff. So I'm recording twice. I'll be doing this, and then I'm going to be singing later. What time is it? Okay. And then I'll be singing later. But on Tuesdays, it's recording video. Or not recording, reacting. Jesus! I need to take a nap. But I won't. I'm not gonna! Where was I? I forgot. He fought back a smile, remembering the way they had been so close. Is she here yet? Can I see her? What's her name? 4-year-old Ethan asked impatiently as he tried to peer around the guard's legs. His guard didn't budge. Little Ethan huffed and crossed his little arms. His guard Darius crouched down to his height. I'm sorry, Your Highness, but I've been ordered not to let you in that room until Madame Leanger has said so, or something. Leon! I don't know. But Darius, he whined, I want to see my new best friend. Darius smiled at the prince. She has to be born first, Your Highness. Ethan's mouth turned into a pout. He sank to the floor, crossing his legs, Indian style. Fine, I'll just wait here. Then, people rushed in and out of the sick room. Nurses, a doctor, adults, shiny objects in their hands, a crib, blankets, and towel. Half an hour later, a tiny cry rang out. Can I go in now? He asked, his eyes bright. Excuse you! Darius opened his mouth, but someone already beat him to it. Prince Ethan Alexander, Madame Leanger would like to see you now. A nurse told him, stepping up next to Darius. Ethan jumped up, taking the outstretched hand of the nurse. She's gonna love me. We're gonna take walks, and she can even play with my cars. He told her as they walked into the sick room. The nurse smiled down at him, her eyes crinkling on the sides. That's great, honey. You want to tell her yourself, Prince Ethan? He bobbed his head. The nurse pointed to the sterile-looking bed. The only thing save for a few machines there are a few machines in the entire room. He skipped up to the bed, easily standing on his tiptoes to see over the plastic railing. His aunt peered down at him, her forehead sweaty and her stomach still swollen. "Hello, Ethan. How is my little East doing today?" she asked him, her voice rough from exertion. Uncle Adrian held a mass of blankets carefully in his arms, crooning to the curls sticking out. He paused his noises to look over at the nurse that brought Ethan in. "Natalie, can you go get Jack and Cleo? I'm sure they'd love to see their new sister." "Ah!" Natalie bowed her head in respect and headed out of the room. "So how are you doing, Ethan?" his uncle asked him, though his eyes never parted from the blankets. "Good. Can I see her now? I've been waiting forever." He dragged out the last word. Auntie Tasha grinned weakly. "You have, haven't you?" She looked absolutely exhausted, but Ethan chose not to say anything. Adults don't like it when you point out their flaws, but he didn't understand why. If he looked tired, he'd want somebody to tell him. She cleared her throat and gestured Uncle Adrian to hand her the blankets. As he did so, Ethan's gray eyes locked onto Uncle Adrian's ace mark on his neck below his ear. Ethan thought it looked like a mass of scribbles, like when he drew dust bunnies on the wall with crayon. The only thing he could make out was this tiny star next to it. Uncle Adrian's ace mark was nothing cool like his. He rubbed at his own with his small fingers, tracing over the area where the design was on his temple. The baby stayed silent as she was passed to Auntie. She gazed down at the precious ace with awe and fascination and love, definitely love. Ethan seen that look on his mother's face, on his mother before. Jesus, I want to see. He bounced on the balls of his feet impatiently. Uncle Adrian came up behind him and picked him up by the armpits. He set him on the bed. "Your father would be very disappointed in you right now if he heard you talking like that." Ethan's focus skipped right to the tiny baby in front of him. The little girl resting in Auntie Tasha's arms was the first and most beautiful baby he had ever seen. Her skin was pure and soft. Her delicate eyes closed. The hair plastered to her head was a light auburn, Ethan's new favorite color. A smile lit up his face as he gazed down at the new addition to the Sirius kingdom. His fingers reached out and curled around the child's hand. "Isn't she pretty, Eve?" Auntie Tasha asked him. Ethan shook his head slowly, oddly not being able to tear his eyes from the girl, his new best friend. "Mommy says girls you like aren't pretty. She says they're beautiful." "What do you think of her?" she asked, gesturing with her head at the child resting in her arms. "She's going to be my new best friend. I'm sure you and Elizabeth will be the best of friends." Elizabeth? The name rattled around in his head. He put it to memory. Ethan shook the little girl's curled fist. "Nice to meet you, Elizabeth." Tingles shot up and down his skin. Ethan yelled and pulled back in surprise. "She shocked me." His bottom lip quivered. Uncle Adrian and Auntie Tasha shared a surprised look. Ethan. Uncle Adrian glanced down at the child wearily. Was it like a static electric shock? No. Tears welled up in Ethan's eyes. My new best friend hates me. No, honey. Auntie Tasha was quick to confront. She doesn't hate you. She's just getting used to you. Really? Yes. Uncle Adrian stuttered. Tasha, please, something. Tasha, please tell me you don't seriously think. Of course I do. Uncle Adrian clenched his fist and shook his head furiously. No way. No way am I giving up my daughter. I just got her. Adrian, relax. You don't even know if it's true. Auntie Tasha said calmly. The parents looked carefully at Ethan. Ethan, can you sing for us? Auntie Tasha asked him gently. What? What? I don't record on Fridays. Because I don't choose to record on Fridays. No, I don't record on the weekends. I record Tuesday through Thursday.
Okay, I have a video idea for you.
Oh, what?
Me and you do our songs that we know. We sing our things, yes? That's what we said.
Out!
That's what we said we were going to do in the first place. You remember the day when I showed you, I think it was Hanzo versus...
Singing is on Thursday.
Oh my freaking god! Today is Thursday!
I know. It doesn't start till 4. Can you leave me alone? Get out!
I'm gonna leave you alone.
Get out of my
I
room!
need to tell you about my problems.
Get out!
I need to tell you about my problems.
Oh my god!
So I had this weird rash.
You're lucky I can't reach my water bottle right now. Your teeth are yellow.
Your teeth are yellow too.
You was gonna say white.
Your teeth are yellow.
What are the words?
No.
Why are you covering me with your
I'm
towel?
not.
Will you get out of my room?
No.
Dude, get out. I'm gonna eat your nose. Get out. Yes, get out of my room. I'm not playing with you. Get out. You gotta take the laundry downstairs anyway. I highly doubt that.
I just walked past it.
Well, if I get up, it's not gonna be fixed.
You can go.
Dude, get out of my bed.
No. Lonnie sucks dick for a living. Lonnie sucks dick for a living. She fucks everybody in the world. She eats ass. Fuck Lonnie. Fuck everyone. She fucks everyone. She fucks Morris. She fucks Morris. Oh, Morris, is you watching this? Hi!
Okay. Sing. Ethan's ears perked up. He loved to sing, but no one really paid attention to him when he did. Auntie Tasha nodded and waited patiently. Ethan looked down at Elizabeth and softly began to sing. Down by the bay where the watermelons grow. Back to my home I dare not go. For if I do, my mother would say, did you ever see a fly wearing a tie down by the bay? His temple tingled right where his ace mark was. He brought his hand up to the spot and absentmindedly rubbed at it. Down by the bay where the watermelons grow. Back to my home I dare not go. For if I do, my mother will say, did you ever see a bear combing his hair down by the bay? Auntie Tasha turned little Elizabeth's wrist over. The underside of the baby's wrist glowed a soft green. Her tiny mark swirled off from the center of a star. Ethan smiled as he sang the rest of the lullaby. Ethan and the baby shared a connection so deep it would last a lifetime, his lifetime and hers. He didn't really know what a mate was, not until that first day he sang to her, but he was so glad he did. 2 days later, he gave Auntie Tasha his favorite necklace, the silver lightning bolt, one his mother made for him to match his ace mark. He was so excited for Elizabeth, for when Elizabeth would grow up enough to wear it. He wanted her to wear it every single day and not take it off because it meant so much to him. So it had to mean that much to her too, right? Ethan visited Elizabeth every day. He was there when she first moved her head, when she started grabbing onto everything placed near her, when she'd eat Auntie Tasha's hair while being held, when she first crawled, her first word. At 2, when she walked, Ethan was there. There was only one time he wasn't there. the night she was kidnapped. Ethan slid the cool metal around his neck and slipped it under his t-shirt. What time is it? Okay. Chapter 4. Chloe's phone vibrated loudly on the nightstand next to the bed. Whoever it was, she was going to answer. She stuffed the pillow over her head and rolled over, ignoring it. Eventually, the vibrating stopped, then started again. With a groan, she reached her hand out blindly to find it. Her fingers connected with the device, and she looked blurry-eyed at the caller ID. She cursed him. Darn him to heck if he thinks this is okay. She flipped the phone open and put it to her ear. What? She whispered hissed. You know you're not allowed to call on my phone. My dad found out he'd kill me, especially at the numbers on her alarm clock glared at her. 4 in the freaking morning. You're 26. Josh all but shouted. Chloe squeezed her eyes shut, balancing the phone carefully on her ear so she didn't have to hold her arm up. Josh, she said slowly, I just turned 18. We discussed this. Josh either didn't hear her super tone or didn't care. No, you're 26 on used tunes. Chloe shot up into a sitting position so fast her phone clattered to the floor. She fumbled with it as she bent to pick it up. What? Her torso extended awkwardly so she could grab at the phone. What do you want, little boy?
I am 14 freaking years old.
You're shorter than me.
Shut up.
What do you want?
My desk. I needed to tell you. I said something inappropriate on your team. No. Stop it.
Didn't I tell you? Family friendly!
Oh, stop.
Family friendly!
I actually said like, ow.
Boy, if you knock over my fan, I swear to God.
Me say I swear to God.
Shut up. Why is SpongeBob?
Yeah, you do.
Don't stop funny. I'm about to go watch it in a minute.
You didn't put that in your stream? Didn't start it back up? I sing songs.
You leave me and my life alone.
Stop. I'm trying to think how many cuss words I said before.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
Ow!
I don't care how many you said. It's supposed to say them. We're not supposed to say them. Get off of me. Get off of me. You ain't getting my code. Not today, son. Oh, no, not today, hon. Not today. Give me my stuff.
No! You're gonna hurt me if I don't. If I do.
Give me my code.
You're gonna hurt me. No. I don't wanna. Don't hurt me! If I let go, will you hurt me?
If you leave me alone, now get out.
No. No.
Stop. Get out of my room.
You can't make me.
Okay, go.
Don't touch my butt.
Don't touch me.
No. This is a bad situation. No. No. I'm leaving.
Go.
I need to get up first.
I'm the stronger one. what you're supposed to do. Stupid, annoying, tiny child. Well, now I'm gonna have to finish this next week. Thanks a lot, family. I gotta go. Freaking stupid. Apologies for not uploading yesterday. I was busy and ran out of time. But I promise next week I will be on time. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. I'll just say p.m. Whatever time it is for you, that's what time it is that I stream. My voice is going a bit, but that shall not stop me. I will see you guys in about 3 minutes, I believe. 4 minutes. Again, singing on Tuesdays, reactions, Wednesdays, random stuff, and Thursdays are singing videos. I keep dropping it. Well, I'll see you guys in the next game. Bye.